All right, good morning. If we can get everybody gathered around together, we can get the briefing started. Good morning to Happy Camp and to Wairika Fairgrounds. This is our operational briefing for 827 day shift. My name is Robert Ashby, Planning Section Chief for Team 5. If you can please silence your cell phones, radios, and hold any side conversations till the end of the briefing, that'd be great. We'll get started now with the situational update with Don Fergulia.
All right, good morning, everybody. So, start up with the night shift update. Last night on the Elliott fire, it continued to actively burn along the 96 corridor, and that's actually looking a little bit better this morning. So, continued caution in here when you're driving along the 96 because there's still stuff coming down on the road. Elliott and Schwillup, you see them every day. They're getting closer and closer. We do potentially expect those to touch today and become one fire. I think it's going to be called the Elliott fire at that point. Schwillup, good successful defensive firing operation in there last night to tie this whole northeast corner off, right? So we're basically here along the 24 road, and that's good. That's really good for us because that's going to buy us some time. However, up into Branch 10, we do have this U-fish fire that's continuing to move out and challenge us on containment. We've been puzzling on it out there for about 10 or 11 days now, trying to take action on it, and we really can't get in there direct. Too dangerous, too many snags. And so we actually are looking at in the next 24 to 48, we may have to initiate just a little bit of firing in there to try to contain that and park it right there to protect the community of Happy Camp. So you'll be hearing more about that in the coming days. Malone fire was static last night, no issues, no concerns. Same story on the head fire. In fact, night shift reports that it was so quiet in there last night that they're going to start to, right-size that incident, especially at night. It's a dangerous place for firefighters at night. I think you'll see, night shift kind of trickling out there on the head fire down to a patrol and a skeleton crew to make sure that the structure stays safe in Hamburg. So we're doing good, particularly here in Oscar and Romeo. Division Mike continues it's going to be some days in there. We do just have a ton of work to cut all that out and secure it. So Division Mike and Division Tango, yesterday we did get some reports that it heated up and they had to back off a little bit. They have a solid plan to continue to keep it right there, but it's drying out, right? So heads up for everybody, you're learning it's drying out. So Scott Fire was good last night, no issues, no concerns. You see containment, we gained some containment out there last night, so that's good. Lake Fire, static, actually has a line all the way around it now, and I think we'll continue on with the mop-up. So thanks, have a good shift.
Weather.
Morning, everybody. Scott Stearns, incident meteorologist. Overnight, we saw RH recoveries a little bit poorer than we have been seeing. RHs in the lowest elevations were up to about 80-85%, and the mid elevations had recoveries close to around 50%, about 45% at the highest elevation. So that means a few things. Strong and shallow inversion. So thermal belt was a little bit deeper than it has been on the previous days. Expect that across the fire area today as we head out there this morning. That also means that there's a little bit more smoke and moisture kind of collected in those lower drainages, particularly the lower reaches of the Klamath River in the zone here. So just keep that in mind when you're headed out there. Visibilities are going to be poorer than they probably have been. All right, so today, pretty much same as yesterday. Still looking at full sun. RHs are going to get down into the 15 to 20% range. Today is the day on the matrix with the most red boxes. So just keep in mind that we've been kind of building up to this the last few days with weather conditions, warm, dry, a little bit of wind in there. We're still looking at the same thing today in terms of the wind. So around 5 to 8 miles an hour sustained, gusts 10 to 15. The difference is be more of a westerly component. Might be a little bit of a south in there, but largely predominantly westerly wind today versus the south or southwest winds that we have been seeing the last 3 days now. So temperatures get up to around mid to upper 80s into the low 90s. So again, we're kind of at the peak of fire weather concerns, and looks like there'll be some changes on the horizon here. That's all I got this morning. Thanks.
Fire behavior.
Good morning, Matt Brown, Team 5, Fire Behavior. So, like Scott was saying, the recovery in the upper elevations are fairly poor. Anything above 2,000 feet was exposed to a lot drier conditions. If we were looking at the fuel sticks out there, they're about 2% less than they were before. So the 10-hour fuels are going into this burn period drier than they were yesterday, and we got quite a bit of activity out of those upper elevations. So overall, that dryness will affect the fires. Also, if you're going out there for, holding and securing line today, pay attention to the wind direction really carefully. Make sure that, if you have favorable winds, you're in a good spot. But if you have unfavorable winds, you're working the east side of a fire or something like that, you're going to be challenged by the wind. And anything that picks up next to the line is going to be getting into a fuel bed that's going to have a pig of 90% today. So high probability of spotting outside the lines today. Access that FTP site and take a look at where the hottest parts of the line are, and focus your energy on those areas. Those are the vulnerabilities for all the containment that everybody's worked real hard to build today. Going around the fire real quick, the head fires got favorable winds in the two pieces that have picked up. There's some intense heat down here in the corner. Again, that west or southwest is favorable to push that and the spots back into the fire. There's a little bit of heat here and scattered along the top end of the head. That's going to be unfavorable. Challenge containment over there. Got to have eyes in that area over there. The Scott has a green island in it that's still burning out. There's quite a bit of scattered heat that's still in here. If you look at the IR map, there's 2 heat signatures out here, whether they're spot fires or not. We're going to have to ground truth that, but they had a really good west wind on it yesterday, and so the spots ended up on the east side of the fire. Have to check that out. Over here at the Elliott fire, unfavorable. This is going to push in across this ridge line. I wouldn't count on too much sheltering from the terrain and topography because it's exposed at the higher elevations down here. A lot of smoke is going to settle in here on the 96. So burning conditions will be really poor in here, but as you get in the upper elevations, things are going to kind of open up. And then there's a little bit of heat on the top end of this Elliott fire as well, right at the ridge line, and a couple of spots that had come off of that as well. Swirl Up fire, most of the heat's down here and the firing operation, and that's getting mopped up and totally contained down here, and the bottom end is pretty hot. The biggest area of concern and things that you probably the most spectacular fire behavior is coming out of the northwest corner of the U-Fish. There's quite a bit of heat that's like laying down in the bottom of this drainage, some at the top, and that exposed ridge is lined up for today's predominant wind. They got a fire that got up and run through a stringer, so I expect the size of this and the split in the terrain right there, you're going to see the same sort of fire behavior again. Once it reaches the top, the species of tree that's in that area will produce spots, and it can spot up to a half mile today because of the high pig and the exposed location with that west wind on it. Thanks for your time.
All right, once again, I'd like to turn your attention to the management objectives and the control objectives. You can find those on page 1 of your IEP. Please review those with your crews. Next, we'll have the operation assignments with Spencer.
All right, good morning. Spencer Andreas, Team 5 Ops. Go ahead and start with roll call, and we'll get into our priorities and work assignments for the day. Day operations, Don Fergulia. He's here. Spencer Andreas, trainee. Deputy operations, Alex McBath. Here. With Scott Korn, who's over at the Cal Fire Camp. Night operations, Steve Burns at Happy Camp, with Robert Rice as a trainee. Plane ops, Ernie Villa. Got me now? There we go. All right. Planning ops, Jaime Hidalgo. All right, Branch 5, Gary Monday, with Frank Alves as a trainee. Division Alpha, unstaffed. Division Charlie, David Winokur, with Phil Parashis as a trainee. Division Echo, Dale Schmidt, with Brian Sears, a trainee. Division Hotel, Jason Schofield, with Michael Spalding as a trainee. Branch 10 over at Happy Camp, Jeff Dupras. Division Juliet, Anthony Ochipini, with Guillermo de la Rosa as a trainee. Division Kilo, Jesse Perry, with Chris Allen as a trainee. And Division Lima, Sean Butterback. Branch 20, Steve Clark. Division Mike November, Brad Rafferty. And he's in route with Charles Daniel. This will be a ride-in as a trainee. Division Oscar Romeo, Anthony Powers. And a ride-in of Angel Villa as a trainee. Division Tango, Cheveo Monk, with John Jordan as a trainee. All right, over at our Cal Fire Camp, Branch 25, Larry Turman. Division Alpha Alpha, Dennis Campbell. Division Bravo Bravo, Mark Mancini. Division Charlie Charlie, Ian Stevens, with Mark Jorgensen as a trainee. All right, Branch 30, Chris Stevens, with Cody Stature as a trainee. Townsend Group, Zeke Jones. Division Zulu, Jack Sevelson, with Brian Good as a trainee who are out on the line. Contingency Branch, Brett Loomis. All right, so priorities for the day. Get a little cord here. Head fire. Okay, a lot of great work again yesterday. We're getting close. Yesterday, Tango, we got some heat on the line. They got the rotary wing in to support them. This thing wanted to come out. So again, today, as soon as we get clean air, we need to get support in here to support these folks working this direct line, and we'll continue. Again, priority is going to be finishing up Tango and the couple sections we have left in Mike. But overall, this thing's looking really good. Great progress by all that have been involved with that. Second priority is going to be our U-fish. So we heard the IMET, we heard weather. This thing's been moving a lot. This is a big priority for us today to get this prepped and ready. So prepping the lines is going to be key today. And then Branch 5. So a lot of great work has gone holding this. Okay, so holding is going to be the leader's intent for Branch 5 today. We've got the Highway 96 corridor, the 24 road. You guys have done a great job keeping it within this footprint. So work assignments today, again, holding. So Dillon Creek, continuing our contingency to the west. The Highway 96 corridor, a lot of rollout yesterday, and we're gonna see it again in the upcoming days. So again, let's start mopping this up, getting this secure, but be prepared for more rollout over the next couple days. They talked about the U-fish fire. We're going to continue to prep this and begin looking at our plans for starting tomorrow. The Malone hasn't moved a lot, and we're going to continue to patrol that, do some prep on it. But again, the concentration over in Branch 10 is going to be the U-fish. Again, I talked about the head. Again, that direct line, we've got those crews inserted. Get that rotary wing up early. Townsend Fire's looking really good. They started backhauling yesterday. We're going to continue to patrol that throughout the coming days, especially with the weather conditions we have. Scott Fire is looking really good. We added some containment line, so great work by all. Continue to patrol and hold the Scott River corridor. There's still some unburned stuff happening throughout the interior of this, so a lot of work left, but great job holding what we have. And then the Lake Fire, yesterday got this thing lined completely. So great job by those folks working in there. They're going to continue to mop up in the days to come. Have a great shift.
Good morning, everyone. John Kazee, Air Ops with Team 5. If you can go to open up to the Air Ops summary, the 220, it's on page 44 in your IAP. If you go in there, take a look, you'll see that there's no frequency changes today, and you can take a look at the lineup. Still working out of Scott Valley Helibase and at Siskiyou Helibase. So, want to remind everybody, if you haven't, make sure you get your radios cloned for those important air-to-ground frequencies and know where they're at in your radio. Make sure that you have them on scan and available, especially if you're going to call in or you're working with aircraft. Just know where be able to access those frequencies so you're ready to talk to the aircraft. Want to remind everybody too, radio discipline when you're working with the aircraft is real important. So for the air-to-ground, especially at air-to-ground TAC, there's one frequency for the whole fire. So know what you're going to say. Think about how you're going to describe your targets or what you want to say to the pilots before you key up. So make it short and concise, and also so that clarify it enough so that they can see it. But remember too, is there's other helicopters that are working, so the longer you're tying up the frequency, then they're waiting for you to get off so they can talk to their folks who they're working with also. So just a little reminder is think about that, the radio discipline, and keep it short and sweet so we keep that frequency open for everybody else. Also, just want to reiterate drop zone safety. The pilots are really getting concerned with having the folks clear of where they're going to drop. So just remember, the larger helicopters, the Type 1s, the Chinook, and the Sky Crane, they're dropping upwards of 2,000 or more gallons of water. So that's a lot of weight. And remember that you can see them a lot more easily than they can see you, and it's easier for you to avoid them. Is just, again, they voice their concerns. Make sure if you're working out there with them that your crews are far enough away and away from the drop zone so that if they do get hit, or that make sure that they don't get hit by the water. You know, it's all about keeping everybody safe. We don't want any accidents out there, and just make sure you're in a safe zone, and have a good day. With that, have a good day out there. Thanks.
Communications.
Another day of pushing words through the air. Woo. Ken Earl, Communications Team 5. Okay, use our clone. If you're going to build command groups, make sure that you use our clone group. We're tone protected front and back, okay? So what that means is on the receive side and on the transmit side, there's code protection. Why? Because there's so many other incidents that are sharing the same tactical frequencies. So please do that. Okay, true story. We caught somebody else writing over air guard. No, don't do that. You will stand tall before the man if that happens again. We're going to turn you in. There's just no way around it. So don't do that, okay? The other thing that's important to understand about this system is just because your 205 says command 5, it doesn't mean you're going to be on command 5. You need to look at the 205, and as you move through the fire, you're going to have to switch command frequencies. East talks to west. That's an administrative boundary. The whole system talks to one another. We can easily talk on the same system from here all the way to the very bottom of Division Charlie in Branch 5. Okay, so understand that. Use our clone. If you're going to pull a command group, we're tone protected front and back, and don't write over air guard. Have a great shift.
Medical.
Morning, everybody. So, a couple things. We got to a new clone. So if we get an IWI, make sure that when you call it in, you're doing it over NIFC command. All right. Forest repeat. You can use as a last-ditch resort, but we've done a test. This can be done throughout the whole fire. So use NIFC command to call in those reds and yellow IWIs. With that, today, we've got a couple more ambulances for you out there. So we got 3 incident ambulance on the fire throughout, spread out through 96. And then the last thing I'm going to say is with the Oak, we're getting more and more cases of it. So we got laundry here, showers, please clean yourself up. And then we have medical supply here in Montague and down at Happy Camp. And then the last thing, hygiene. Camp Crud, you're starting to hear all the sniffles and stuff, so please keep washing your hands. I got lots of hand washing stations, so hit it up. I'll see you in the morning.
Safety.
Good morning, Jason Wimigler, T5 Safety. First, get your clone. Make sure your clone works. Test the frequencies before you head out of camp. That way you can get it fixed before you get on the line and have the issues. So test your radios before you leave camp. Second, civilian traffic. 96 is open through private car to civilian traffic all the way down the happy camp. So there's a lot more civilians on the road, and they're paying attention to you guys, the way you guys drive, and what you guys are doing. So please, if you're working along the highway, especially 96 by the head fire, or even down further on the west side of the fire, make yourself visible. Turn on your lights. Use those warning lights so when they come around the corner, they see you. There's no reason you shouldn't have them on when you're working on the highway. Trees, 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 trees. A lot of hazard trees out there. They took down the hazard trees. There's a hazard tree severity map up here on the stage. Take a look at it. Come up here and take a look at it. See where all those hazard trees are. It's color coded. Gives you an idea how many hazard trees are out there in the area you're working. Lastly, we're getting a lot of report of scorpions. The California scorpion is not poisonous. It does bite though, or sting you, and it's more like a bee sting. So please, when you get in your tents tonight, or tomorrow morning if you're on 24, just take a look, shake it out, make sure you don't see any scorpions in there, because we have had reports of scorpions getting in the tents now, but they are not venomous. So it will hurt if it stings you, but they are not venomous. So if you do get bit, go to medical. Have a safe shift.
Human Resources.
Good morning. I'm Autumn Lucas, the HRSP. Today's HR message can be found in the IAP along with my contact information, so please feel free to reach out if you have any questions or concerns. With that, have a safe shift.
Resource Advisor.
All right, good morning, everyone. Joshua Corder, Lead Resource Advisor. Just wanted to continue to say thank you for your work with the Reefs and the ARCs out there on the line, especially when you're projecting out where you want to construct new line to help contain this fire here for the local community. I encourage you to keep working with them, keep sharing that information. And speaking about sharing information, if you turn to page 50 in your IAP, some new information for you on some history. So if you go, many of you probably have driven by Scotts Bar, you've worked there on this fire in different divisions and so forth. It is a historical area, historical town that was founded back in 1850 for placer mining. So you might even look up on the hills if you're driving through there and notice some of the mining that used to be there. And in fact, so I get this right, in 1855, a newspaper said there was a 7-pound lump of pure gold that someone found in there. And just in that little area alone, they pulled out $16 million worth of gold. And so with that history knowledge and some of these mining, again, how can you help preserve and protect that history? Is avoiding those areas with some ground disturbance, but really just contacting your resource advisor on the line or ARCs, and they can help guide you around. And maybe when you're out there one-on-one, they can give you more history lesson than what I did here, and you can read even more on page 50 of your IAP. Have a good day.
All right, next we'll have our agency comments.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Okay, that's a lot better. My name is Natalie Kelly. I'm the district ranger on Salmon Scott River Ranger District. So for this morning, hope you guys were taking notes. These are the things I wrote down. Challenge to containment, too many snags, dangerous place for firefighters, dryness will affect the fire's wind direction, drop zone safety, switch of frequencies, complex frequency traffic, camp crud, COVID, and working along the highway. The reason I mention these things is because working on the Klamath, especially on the west side, that terrain, it will take advantage of you if you allow it to. Most of you have been in on this fire for 12 plus days, even longer, and this is the time where fatigue sets in. So I ask that you really pay attention to what you're doing because it matters that you guys come home safely. Also the intensity of what you're working. You know, some of these fires, like it was already mentioned, are in some pretty good shape, others aren't. And so we need to keep that momentum, be hungry for those incidents so we can finish up, button up, and everyone goes home safe. Thank you.
All right, and for closing comments, we have our ICs, Dustin Mueller and Greg Roth.
All right, good morning again. Thanks for all your hard work. On behalf of the Unified Incident Commanders, Greg and myself, So today I want to talk a little bit about validation. So today's a day I'm going to ask each and every one of you to validate the plan. Usually at this point of the incident, it really means something to me, and that's the safety plan. So I'm going to ask Operations Section Chief Don Fergulia to have his staff, all the branches and divisions and your breakouts all over the Klamath and Siskiyou unit here that's assigned to this incident to go through that 206, go through your evacuation plan, test the plan. So realize that we're getting a little bit smoked out here. There's no air resources probably available if you do get into some trouble. So validate your internal crew plans, your division plans, how you evacuate everybody. So that's going to be the plan for you guys to do today. Take 15 minutes within your division, within your module, and discuss it. It's really important to me for you guys to come home, so please do that today. There's nothing out there that does not mean something for me. So please take that. It's the Klamath. It's dangerous. Have a great shift.
All right, just real quick. I know we've run a little long. I appreciate your patience and your attention. It's all very important information that you get. Trainees, please check in with the training specialist to get your stuff taken care of. Also, again, with finance, if you haven't checked in with finance, get that taken care of so that you can get paid. Any unassigned resources, come up to the front. We have our resource unit leaders here that will take your information. Breakouts are posted throughout the briefing area. Our next operational briefing will be at 1800 tonight, and then 0700 tomorrow morning, cooperators meeting at 10 o'clock, and then a planning meeting at 1700. Be safe, be productive, and have a good shift. Thank you.